Greetings and salutations, fellow pilots. This is Akirishin. In this video, I will be featuring the Hawker Hurricanes, specifically two of them. We have the Hawker Hurricane MK2, and we have the premium Hawker Hurricane 2D, which is this lovely aircraft. And recently, the Hawker Hurricane 2D was featured in the premium shop, and many of you may have picked that aircraft up and may be asking yourself, of these two aircraft, which one do I want to fly? Which one is better? What are their respective characteristics? So we're going to try to answer some of those questions in this video. So we'll take a look first at the Hawker Hurricane MK2. I really like the looks of this aircraft, especially the rockets underneath and the huge cannon sticking out of the wings. Always love those. You can never go wrong with huge cannons. Alright, so the MK2 has four 20mm cannons that do 90 damage per second each, with a rate of fire of 400 rounds per minute. A fairly standard rate of fire for cannons of this nature. They have an effective firing range of 680 meters. So not the longest, but certainly not the shortest either. So maybe kind of right there in the middle in terms of effective firing range. And the MK2 can also equip either two bombs, each of which do 2,200 damage within a 60-meter damage radius. Or you could go with four rockets, which is what I've chosen to do, each of which do 1,000 damage within a 35-meter radius. So I suppose that if you are most concerned about attacking ground targets, that you would probably want to go with the bombs, because they have they do a lot of damage, and most importantly within a larger damage radius. The reason I equip the rockets is more about aircraft, other aircraft, and specifically when I am either right behind another aircraft or another aircraft is flying at me and taking me on head on. I just launch those rockets in their face, which is always a nasty surprise for them, of course. And so that's why I mainly equip the rockets. Because no matter what you do, I don't see the Hawker Hurricane as this huge ground attack aircraft. So the MK2 has good airspeed, so it's not high or very high airspeed, just good. And it has a boost, of course. In terms of maneuverability, it has, again, good maneuverability in horizontal turns, but not high or very high. So it's kind of, mediocre in those stats. Now, you could go a few different ways in fitting out this aircraft. You could take more of a speed approach to it, or you could take more of a maneuverability approach. I have chosen the latter. I have gone with upgrading the aircraft's maneuverability, with some improvement on airspeed as well. To accomplish those goals, I have equipped as upgrades Control Surface Adjustment 2, which increases maneuverability in turns by 3%, and Lightweight Airframe 2, which increases maneuverability in all axes by 3%. Finally, in terms of airspeed improvement, I have gone with Aircraft Polish 1, which increases the Mk2's top speed by 5%. Now, to have good synergy with those upgrades, in our pilot skills, I have selected Engine Guru 1, which increases engine thrust by 3%. So, when we need to accelerate either, in a climb or maybe trying to get away from a foe, that helps with that. In terms of maneuverability, I have gone with Aerodynamics Expert, which increases the effects of all three of our upgrades by 40%. Also, Aerobatics Expert, which increases maneuverability in all axes by 2%. So, collectively, with our pilot skills and our upgrades, we have significantly improved this aircraft's maneuverability. Is it going to hang with a, Japanese fighter? No. But with some good strategy, the maneuverability helps quite a bit. Now, I don't really like to waste a consumable with automatic fire extinguisher, so when I have an extra pilot skill point, I do select fire resistance in lieu of automatic fire extinguisher as a consumable. That frees that consumable up for other more useful ones. Looking at ammunition, I have gone with universal ammunition, which has equal chance of fire and critical damage, so a very balanced ammunition for this aircraft. For consumables, I have selected first aid kits so that we can get our pilot back to good health should he be injured. Control surface auto trim, which automatically restores controllability of wings and tail. And finally, automatic engine restarter. All three of these consumables are gold consumables with 60-second cooldowns, and they activate automatically. Their non-gold versions have 90-second cooldowns and activate manually. Looking at this aircraft's specifications, get these expanded for you here. Optimum altitude for the Mk2 is only 1,000. So it is, in my book, a low altitude multi-role fighter. Certainly not, I would say not medium and not high altitude. Stall speed is 120 kilometers per hour. This aircraft does tend to stall, so just be aware of that. Average time to turn 360 degrees is 10 seconds, which for a multi-role aircraft is not too bad. Top speed at best altitude is 535 kilometers per hour. 630 kilometers per hour maximum dive speed. Its optimum airspeed is 288 kilometers per hour. It has a rate of roll of 95 degrees per second. Not too bad conducting rolls. Okay, checking out paint schemes. This is summer that you're currently looking at, which is very nice. Winter? Meh. Not too great, but you know, it'll do. Desert? That's pretty nice. And finally, marine. So that is the MK2. Looking now at the Hurricane 2D, one of the major things that differentiates this version of the Hurricane from its MK2 brethren is that the 2D has two 40mm cannons that pack a powerful punch. As it says, high single shot damage and a high chance of a critical hit. Does 160 damage per second with a rate of fire of 90 rounds per minute and an effective firing range of 600 meters. Anything to write home about, but it's okay. It also has two 303 Browning machine guns that do 25 damage per second with a rate of fire of 600 rounds per minute and an effective firing range of 440 meters. Pretty much the same build as I have on the Hurricane 2. Control surface adjustment, aircraft polish, lightweight airframe, and the identical pilot skills that I just went over with the Hurricane 2. Same consumables as the Hurricane 2. I do have gold ammunition on this aircraft. I had some of them in the depot, I guess you'd call it. So some of them were available, and I don't know how I got them, but I had them, so hey, what the heck. On the 40mm cannon, the high explosive ammunition has a very small chance of fire, but it has a huge chance of critical damage, which is what we want those 40mm cannons to do. We can rely upon our machine guns to start fires. And I really like that combination of machine guns and cannons for that very reason. You can kind of go high crit on the cannons and high fire on the machine guns, and it's a very effective combination. And for the machine guns, I did go with high explosive incendiary, which has a huge chance of fire and a very small chance of critical hit. Okay, in terms of the aircraft's specifications, its optimum altitude is 900 meters, so 100 meters less than the Hurricane 2. Its optimum airspeed, same as the Hurricane 2, 288 kilometers per hour. Same stall speed as the Hurricane 2, 120 kilometers per hour. Same average time to turn 360 degrees, 10 seconds. I don't remember what the best altitude speed was, 540 kilometers per hour for the Hurricane 2D. Let me see what it was. Slightly less for the MK2, but not so much that it would really make any kind of significant difference. So basically, these two aircraft are the same except for the 40mm cannons versus the 20mm cannons. Paint schemes. I believe that you're currently looking at winter. This is summer. Desert. Now that is really an awesome paint scheme for the desert. I really like that. That's probably my favorite paint scheme out of both of these aircraft. I wish the Hurricane 2 had that. And finally, marine. We'll go back to the desert though because I like it. So again, good airspeed and boost, good maneuverability and horizontal turn. So again, basically the same layout. It's all about the cannons with these two aircraft and which one is better. So of course, what we're going to do now is use my aircraft comparison chart to compare these two aircraft in terms of their specifications. So let's do that now. And here we are looking at my aircraft comparisons chart, and I have lined up the various different Tier 5 multi-role fighters. We'll be looking at 6 criteria in comparing these aircraft to one another. First, we'll be looking at guns, which refers to the total collective damage all of the gun armaments on an aircraft can do. Next, time to turn 360 degrees. Then hit points. Airspeed, which refers to the top airspeed at best altitude the aircraft can perform. Altitude. And finally, ordnance, which refers to the total collective damage all bombs and rockets of a particular aircraft can bring to bear. So we're looking first at gun armaments, and we see right off the bat that the FW-190A1 has the top damage output, collective damage output of 618 damage per second. Coming in second is the Hurricane 2D at 370 damage per second, and then the Hurricane 2 at 360 damage per second. So both hurricanes are very close to one another. The difference between those two damage outputs are really not significant enough to sway one's opinion one way or another. If you want the top dog in terms of collective damage output for gun armaments, you would go with the FW-190A1. Next up are ordnance, and we see that the XP-44, the American multi-role fighter, has the greatest collective damage output for its ordnance at 8,600 total damage potential. The Hurricane 2, as you can see, is at 4,400. And of course the Hurricane 2D has no bombs or rockets, so it's not really even in the running with this category. The Hurricanes are really not great at the ground attack role. They can do some damage in the ground attack role, but if you really want a good and effective ground attack multi-role aircraft, the XP-44 would be your best bet. A very important stat, time to turn 360 degrees. Worst out of these aircraft is the FW-190A1 at 13 seconds. The XP-44, the American multi-role fighter that has featured well in other areas, this is its Achilles heel at 12 seconds on the turn. Both the Hurricanes are at 10 seconds, and that's really good for a multi-role aircraft. No real difference between the two Hurricanes in that respect. And we're looking next at hit points, which is our survivability measurement. And this is where the Hurricane 2 has a leg up at 360 versus the Hurricane 2D's 260. The Hurricane 2D is not the lowest in terms of hit points, but it certainly pales in comparison to the Hurricane MK2. Certainly another factor of survivability is an aircraft's airspeed. Airspeed, of course, can be a tactical advantage, but it also can be a defensive measure. So if you're, in a situation where you're outgunned, maybe you're facing a turn and burn aircraft that you just can't hang with in close combat, then escaping with superior airspeed would be your best bet if that's available to you. As you can see here, the XP-44 is tops in that category at 620 kilometers per hour. Both Hurricanes are on the lower end of the spectrum here, at the MK2 at 534 kilometers per hour and the Hurricane 2D at 540 kilometers per hour. That difference between the two hurricanes is negligible. Certainly, the two are on par with each other despite that slight difference in airspeed. And that's basically, the difference between good airspeed and high airspeed. So if you're looking for a really fast multi-role aircraft, neither of the Hurricanes are your best bet in that particular category. In terms of altitude, we see that the XP-44 again is right up there at the top, as is the FW-190A1, both at 1,200 meters. The Hurricane 2 is not far behind them at 1,000 meters, and then the Hurricane 2D at 900 meters. So certainly the Hurricanes are at least on par with most Tier 5 multi-role peers, but neither one are rock stars in that particular stat. So this next view helps you to put the two aircraft, the two Hurricanes, in context with one another so that you can kind of decide, well, which of the two Hurricanes do I want to fly? The Hurricane 2D or the Hurricane MK2 Mark II? And as you can plainly see from this particular chart, the Hurricane Mark II has the advantage. First of all, it's got the capability of bombs and rockets, whereas the Hurricane 2D has no bombs, no rockets. Second, the Hurricane Mark II has a 100-meter advantage in terms of altitude, while the Hurricane Mark II has a slightly lower airspeed than the 2D. That difference is, as I mentioned before, negligible, and I don't think gives the 2D any particular great advantage over the Mark II. Both aircraft have the same turning rate of 10 seconds, so no advantage goes to either aircraft in that respect. And while the Hurricane 2D has a slight advantage over the Mark II in terms of gun armaments, that difference again is negligible. 360 damage per second for the Mark II versus the 370 damage per second for the 2D. So when you combine the fact that the Mark II has rockets or bombs that it can equip, a better altitude, and roughly the same other stats, except for, of course, hit points, where the Mark II has a decided advantage over the Hurricane 2D. Again, I think you have to conclude overall that the Hurricane Mark II is the better aircraft. So I hope that helps put the two Hurricanes in context with each other. let's look at the Tier 5 multi-role fighters on a larger scale. So what overall conclusion can we reach with regard to these various different Tier 5 multi-role aircraft? Of course, all of these aircraft have their strengths and their weaknesses. But if you were to look at each aircraft as a whole, there is a strong case to be made that the XP-44 is best in tier. It's got excellent ground attack capability for a multi-role. It's got one of the best altitude performance. It has excellent airspeed at 620 kilometers per hour. Its closest competitor, the FW-190A, is at 580 kilometers per hour. Its hit points are second only to the Hurricane Mark II. However, its weaknesses are, number one, its 12-second 360-degree turning time, and the fact that it only has machine guns and no cannons. You definitely do miss the cannons on that aircraft. If the XP-44 had cannons, it would be hands down the best aircraft among these. So certainly the Hurricanes are not bad aircraft, and they're a lot of fun to fly, and you will see in the combat that is featured in this video that both aircraft can perform at fairly high levels, but neither Hurricane is a rock star among its Tier 5 multi-role peers. So I hope that helps put the Hurricanes in context with their Tier 5 peers and with each other. Alright, so having compared these two aircraft and having gone over my builds and the aircraft's specifications, let's take each one of these out into a battle and see how we do. Alright then, so here we go in our Hurricane 2D this time. Biting over the peripheral mission, foreign land theater of operation. We'll head here to the garrison first, and then on to the airfield.
Show me what you can do, pilots. Let's roll.
Alright, let's get on with the business of knocking planes out of the sky. So we've got a heavy down here. Close. Some fighters lined up here. This one looks like... oh. They're all blowing up before I can do anything. So we'll head over here. Yeah, let's... we have coming here an A6. A6 is good aircraft, but squishy.
A large enemy force is attacking the military base. Proceed with caution.
Got another hurricane here. There we are. It's coming in here. Got a ground attack aircraft down here. We'll zoom in so we can be most efficient with our shots. BF-109B there. Coming at us, or no, it's going away from us there. Come back! I want to kill you! Alright, we've got something coming in here. Multirole. Multirole there.
Stay alert, pilot. Large enemy force spotted over the airfield.
And I wonder if we can't get over here and take this garrison from them. That'd certainly be nice. Roll our way out of this mess. Roll. There we go. I've got an injured pilot now, so we can't hit anything worth a damn. That was some nice flying back there, boys. Wonder if I can knock these bad boys out. Swing back around here. One more. And we'll have that ground target. Go. Take out this. Oh. Couldn't quite get it done. We were working hard over there though. It's a long way to get back over there. We'll have to deal with these folks over here at the plant.
Victory is almost ours. Hang in there. You'll soon be cut off from support. Oh. I say again, support will not be available.
HE 112. Attack aircraft there.
Heavy storm here. Unable to proceed. Returning to base. Do you copy?
We are ideally suited to take that out. These cannons do a good job on those. Ah! Couldn't quite get it done. For the mountain. Spoiled our fun there. I'm just trying to get back into position. We can get this before it gets our friendly. Akirishin, finish him off. Multirole there.
Turn back. The enemy force is too strong.
Alright, so unfortunately a defeat, but we did get the #1 spot. And subjugator, effective fire, flying start. Take a look at the after action report, see what was going on. Alright, so 13 kills, 2 assists, over 2,300 in damage, 2 aerial targets, destroyed 1 ground target. And let's see here. $127,500 in change. Let's see, 1918 in experience points, 95 in free experience. Over 10,000 in combat points, exceeding the #1 on the enemy team that prevailed. So a very good result there for the Hurricane 2D. Alright, so what we will do is head into battle with the Hurricane 2. Alright, and here we go in our Hurricane 2 over the archipelago reconnaissance by fire theater of operation.
Attention, you are entering the zone controlled by the enemy.
We'll head over here to the airfield to the north of us.
Show me what you can do, pilots. Let's roll.
Got a 10-second boost. Alright, let's head in here and see what we can accomplish. Nice of them to all group up there for us. Just do a little roll here. Probably the one we shot up previously here. I think I got some rounds on it. stalling. Let's roll over here. This aircraft does tend to stall pretty easily. Get our airspeed back up. Well, they haven't taken this garrison over here yet.
The enemy is trying to capture the plant.
Yeah, they're about to get it, though. I don't think we can stop them before they take it. Where are they? Oh. Oh. It's a heavy fighter up there, and if he gets that, which he will, that'll be the end of that. Almost there, come on. I can't believe he hasn't killed that air defense aircraft yet. See if we can't get him with a rocket. Alright. I don't think we hit him with the rocket. No, I think we'll... Oh, hello. Yeah. Whoa. What is shooting at us? Let's roll over here. All we need is this kill and we'll have it. There we go. Yeah, you may not want to fly right into those 20mm cannons. They tend to eat things up. And we have our rockets back, so if he comes at us again... Let's see here. There we go. There we go. That got us the Rocketeer. Nothing like a face full of rockets to brighten an enemy's day. Okay, BF 109 here. What is this up here? Gotcha. And I'm guessing this fellow's gonna go head on with us. You know what? I'm gonna dive straight for the deck here. Maybe twist around a little bit. Pick up some airspeed. Bailed us out there, I think. I was too busy turning feverishly to tell for sure. And looks like we have a...
Be advised, a line of thunderstorms is approaching. We'll soon be unable to provide
attack aircraft here.
Do you copy? Over. Way to go! Victory is close.
A couple of fighters up here. It looks like a multirole, which I think we'll get a shot at. Gotcha. tough to see through the clouds there. Biplane.
That's it. There's no way to break through for you now. You're on your own.
What the hell is that? I don't recognize that aircraft. Now no one recognizes it.
Victory is ours. We're waiting for your return.
Okay, so victory there. Very nice. Lambert medal. McCampbell medal. Conqueror. Rank 1 on the team. Subjugator, Rocketeer, and Effective Fire, and 3 chevrons on the grade rank. Very nice. So we'll head back to the hangar now and take a look at the after action report. Alright, and 13 kills, 2 assists. Over 45,000 in credits. 2802 in experience, 140 in free experience, and a couple tokens. That's nice. Also had flying start, which was not on the original summary screen. Slightly over 10,000 in combat points. So yeah, a very good result there. Let's see, our opposite number was a boomerang fighter with 8 kills. So that, folks, is the Hurricane Mark II. Fun aircraft to fly. Stalls easily, as you saw. But other than that, very enjoyable. Alright, so I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you get an opportunity to fly our 2 Hurricanes, I hope you have great success in them.